Hi, hello. It has been a long time, a very long time, but getting back to making videos. We're going to start by catching up on all the Magic spoilers that have been coming out. I think after I did the first day of Theros Beyond Death previews, it didn't take so long, and I was like, great, let's see if we can keep this up. Let's see if we can stay on top of these and not have to make one gigantic marathon video. But guess what? You can see that number down in the wherever it is. It didn't happen. Now we are doing a super marathon catch-up video. But that's fine. We will, oh man, these look interesting. We'll just get through it. I've been hearing some buzz that there's some pretty exciting cards in here. And as I said, I think in the first video, the whole plane of Theros just really excites me. Just some of the aspects of the lore and the setting are just super beautiful, super interesting. So this is a pretty basic card. We've seen Murder, which is the iconic 3-mana destroy target creature. Now we have Final Death, which is just as basic, but exile target creature, which I'm assuming is going to be very relevant in standard format with a whole lot of indestructible gods and what have you. Sure. Its memory, identity, and eventually the physical form, leaving only crumbling statues called Misera. Hollow monuments to mortal futility. Gosh. It's quite unnerving. Nyx Herald. Target enchantment creature you control gets +1. Okay, that's kind of cool. I really like this blend of you can either target enchanted creatures or enchantment creatures. And I'm sure for people new to the game, reading this card makes you feel like you're having a stroke. But I think this is a great way to make enchantment creature focused cards less parasitic. Like in limited formats and stuff, you're probably going to be focusing more on just drafting a bunch of enchantment creatures to get this going. But maybe, probably not this card, but maybe some other card in a constructed format could fit into like Boggles or any other enchantment aura spam type deck. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And again, anything where they have these enchantment creatures that have like the Nyx Starfield within them, I think is super cool. Alright, sure. Allure of the Unknown. So this is one of the showcase cards that have expanded art. Of course, it's Seb McKinnon. I think probably my favorite Magic artist working right now, especially like of kind of the newer generation of Magic artists. He's one of the most boldly experimental. Like look at the kind of framing of this, the flatness of it, the sharp contrast in the colors, the very limited palette. Most Magic now is things like this, just kind of fairly photorealistic drawings with some fantastical elements that sort of look like they're still from some sort of action movie playing out that involved these creatures and what have you. Whereas Seb is still kind of operating in the making a work of art type mode where it doesn't really need to fit into any sort of reality, but can just kind of be a purely artistic depiction. Anyway, it's very cool. I'm a big fan of it. Reveal the top 6 cards of your library. An opponent exiles a non-land card from among them, and you put the rest in your hand. That opponent may cast the exiled card without paying its mana cost. Okay, so this is pretty terrible. You are drawing 5 cards, but your opponent is going to cast the best of them. So typically these sorts of big dig cards where you're just trying to get through as much of your library as possible, you're aiming for like a combo piece or something. So I suppose in a lot of situations it doesn't matter too much that your opponent gets to cast it because it's something that only really fits into the mechanism of your deck. But it's like if there is like a payoff to your combo, like a big creature or something that eventually pops out, they just get it. If there is like some key pieces, they still get to deprive you of them. So you're basically not going to be using this as like a dig for a specific card type thing, because you're never going to get the card you want. Instead, it's going to be more of like a value play. And as a value play, paying 5 to draw 5 and giving your opponent a free card, I don't know. I'm really skeptical of this one. It's a cool design, though. I would like something like this, but a lot more pared down. Like, without this clause, and maybe only top 3 or something, and then you make it like much, much cheaper, I think could be really, really interesting. And I like just any dynamic where it involves your opponent making some choices of what resources to let you have. Like Factor Fiction, I think, is one of the coolest cards in the game. Gifts Ungiven as well. So anything that's kind of like that, I'm already kind of intrigued at the gameplay possibilities, but I don't know, man. I think it's just not going to happen. The Light of Hope, Blinded Pantor, is I guess a Pandora type of person, to the ills of the world. Oh yeah, just this art though. Fantastic. Wish it was on a better card. Gallia of the Endless Dance. Now this art is, again, just generic, realistic shot from a movie of Theros type thing, but I love it! There's so much going on. It's so colorful. It's so rare to see like happy, smiling faces on Magic cards. Scenes of reverie and fruit flying around, and oh, there's so much to like here. I'm all about it. It's a Satyr Lord. Cool. Other satyrs you control get +1/+1 and have haste. That's pretty legit. This is pretty sweet too. Card advantage looting. It's the pre-discard loot, and you have to discard at random. It's not so great. And I also don't like that if you're hellbent, if you have no cards, you can't draw 2 because if you do, like, you have to discard the card to draw 2. So it's a little disappointing too. But overall, I quite love this design. I'd like to see a Satyr deck. I don't know if it's going to get there, but it's certainly fun at a casual level. Again, the art is just fantastic. Oh, she's so awesome. Look at that. She's just got this guy in a headlock. Why? All right, so this is a winner for me. Oh, whoa! It's a Lotus! Now, I kind of have beef with this design, honestly. They're throwing the word Lotus around, just trying to get people all excited. It's a Lotus! It's a Lotus! But let's review what it means to be a Lotus, okay? Until this, there was quite a bit of consistency in when this most sacred of all words in Magic was used. Of course, we have the original Black Lotus, which adds 3 mana. Then we have the Gilded Lotus, which taps to add 3 mana instead of tap and sack. So to me, this idea was that it was like a mechanical thing. That this was like something that Mirrodin made, or not mechanical, but metal. It has some additional permeance that you don't actually have to like destroy it to harvest the mana. But again, it adds 3. Lotus Bloom, it destroys itself, but it adds 3. Okay. Just like the original Lotus. Lotus Blossom, I guess this one is a little different. This is more, I kind of forgot about this card, TBH. I was thinking about Lotus Field, Lotus Veil, add 3, add 3. Lotus Petal, a third of a Lotus, I guess, add 1. Mox Lotus, obviously doesn't count. Lotus Guardian, add 1, but it's not a Lotus itself. It's a Guardian of a Lotus. Same with the Lotus Cobra. It's just around Lotuses. But you see, and then yeah, the silver border cards. But you see that there's a consistency. They add 3. They add 3, and most of the time they sacrifice themselves to add 3. Or there's some element of sacrifice, and usually flavorfully it's reflected if it's not sacrificing of itself, if you're not like kind of tearing up the Lotus, not literally like this, but you know, harvesting it, that it sacrifices itself to add 3. So this, I don't know, it's not quite right. It's just not quite right. And is it any good? It's 4 mana. I don't know. I would be much more excited if it was 0 mana, you sacked it. It could still ETB tap, and then you have to sack and tap for balance, because otherwise it'd be kind of nuts. And then you sack it for the amount of mana equal to the devotion. That would be cool. That would actually be cool. And it would be perhaps balanced, because you actually need to build up a board state. It would probably even be bad, because it's almost inherently win more. If you've already got the board state that it's going to generate you a ton of mana, then you probably don't really need to be casting it. But in some combo decks, maybe there's such... Well, but then in combo decks, it comes into the battlefield tapped. Anyways, I think that would be a way cooler design, way more Lotus-y. The fact that you're paying 4 for it... I don't know. I'm a little disappointed. I feel like they were just like... This originally was like an obelisk or something, and they're like, oh, couldn't this be a lotus? Wouldn't that make people excited if it was a lotus? It's already like $10. I don't think this is that good. I don't think it's $10 good. It's, in many ways, quite similar to Nykthos, which, I don't know if I spelled that right. There we go. This thing is a land, though, so it costs 0. And sure, you have to pay 2 each time, but you're still getting access to it much quicker than this. So is this really going to end up being a $10 card? I mean, I guess this is a $20 card, so people like it. I don't know. I feel like they're tricking us. Tricking us by putting Lotus. It's not really a Lotus. It's much more like an obelisk or a engine or any number of other things. Ooh, this guy looks cool. Dalikos, Crafter of Wonders. Ah, oh, wizards. You're not calling this Dalikos Workshop Attendant. Dalikos Mishra's Friend. You do the pandering name here. You could pander here, too. This is pretty cool. The fact that it's got the activate abilities of artifacts, and that, of course, ties in with the equip cost. Stats are nice. The mana cost is pretty cheap. I'm kind of about this guy. Like, this is a really powerful ability. This can ramp you super hard. It feels like Wizards is kind of playing with fire whenever they print something like this, especially in colors like this that normally have such a hard time ramping. Is it going to actually find a home anywhere? I don't know. It's hard to evaluate. Like, I think this... probably not relevant. It's more about this. But who knows? I don't know. I'm curious. Kunoros, Hound of Theros. It's a Cerebus! Cool! Vigilance, Menace, Lifelink. Cute. 3 keywords, 3 heads. Creature cards in graveyards can't enter the battlefield. Players can't cast spells from graveyards. Cool! It's like, I think that's the same wording as Grafdigger's Cage. Whereas Grafdigger's Cage, just nothing can come out of the... No, yeah, it's the exact same wording. Okay, that's what I thought. So that's cool. So it shuts off both Reanimator and Flashback, but not some other stuff like Dredge is fine, except for, you know, other aspects of Dredge. But the actual dredging mechanic is fine, and other Graveyard Matters stuff is still fine. It's not like Rest in Peace, which kind of begs the question, or wags the tail, if you were. Why would you play this over Rest in Peace? Well, it's because it's a very relevant 3/3 for 3 with 3 relevant keywords. Yeah, this thing can close out games really quickly, and also hoses the hell out of certain decks. I don't know, I feel like a lot of formats will want to try this. Because often it's like you side in your Graveyard Hate and they're just dead cards. And that's one of the major things that makes your deck actually like weaker. And one of those like graveyard trick things, where you play game 1 as a graveyard deck, and then sideboard out all of your graveyard plans, and just play game 2 as like a beatdown deck, knowing that your opponent probably sided in all their Graveyard Hate and aggressively mulligan to it. Which I think is hilarious, and it really entertains me to watch gameplay of such decks. But yeah, it's like you can kind of get away with it more if your Graveyard Hate is like this. Your Graveyard Hate still fights really well. It's cool. Why doesn't it have Triple Strike? This is the card for it. Ooh, a new god. Clothius, God of Destiny. Sweet. Wow, both arts are awesome. It's like the showcase art, I think, is really cool with this nutty frame and the constellation, all these like ionic motifs in the background. There's a lot to love here, but then in the original, I think the artwork of all the gods is just so fantastic. The way they're so huge, they have like all of this flair to their costuming and stuff. The scale with which they really appear in Theros, with all of the kind of cosmic shrouding around them. Ooh, I love it. I love it. Okay. So this is the god that took the place of Xenagos, when Xenagos became a god for a little while, and then Xenagos got booted back out, I think. Maybe they were the god before Xenagos as well, and now they're back, or something like that. Okay, so what does this do? The beginning of oh, hey! It's a little Deathrite Shaman. A little. I like it. It's pretty cool. This is like pretty worth just having as an enchantment. The fact that it turns into a god that can do pretty okay in combat later is just icing on the cake. But to have this come down on turn 3, ramp you from turn 4 to turn 5, assuming you're playing with fetches, start pinging down your opponent in other relevant situations. I don't know, yeah, seems pretty cool. Nessian Boar. Well, I mean, I know it's like a pretty vanilla creature, but I wouldn't call it a boar. I'm doing my best. All creatures able to block it do so. Whenever it becomes blocked by a creature, that creature's controller draws a card. Ooh, that's kind of fun. So I guess the flavor here is you get to eat the delicious boar, and that's represented by card advantage. Basically, anything good happening can sometimes be represented by card advantage, which I'm into. I like the stat line. It's a 10-6. That's awesome. The fact that it doesn't have trample is kind of lame, but I guess it's more about, it's like trying to be a one-sided board wipe in a very green fashion. The stats are, of course, ridiculous for the mana cost, but like this is a major downside. I guess... There's a lot of decks that this does pretty good against, I guess. Like decks that aren't running any creatures, this just wallops you for 20 very quickly. Decks that are only running like dorky combo facilitating creatures like Storm that run like Baral and Goblin Electromancer, you get a nice way to just wipe out all of those dorks. They get to draw some cards, but like they already played those creatures, so presumably if they drew those creatures again, they would play them again. So it's like not really that much card advantage, if you know what I'm saying. I don't know. It's kind of difficult to evaluate. Pretty interesting card, though. Definitely not a bore. Yeah. Nyla Keeneyed. So this is a god that already existed, I'm pretty sure. I don't think that other one did, but we can look that up as well. Yeah. She was the god of the hunt. Whereas you, the god of destiny, definitely didn't exist before, because that was Xenagos' spot. Yeah. Okay. So... is there going to be 15 gods in this set? Or is there just going to be, like, kind of a random assortment? There's no way that they would make all the mythic rares and then some gods. So, I don't know. We've only seen a few so far. Indestructible, as long as your devotion gains less than 5 on a creature. Ooh, now it's getting interesting. So... yeah, this seems pretty good. This is definitely relevant in a lot of decks. Kind of like a stompy, wide sort of thing. And this is like actually so life-saving. The fact that you can, if it's late game, you've got a ton of mana, all you just need is a play. You just need to get your devotion up. You just need to get board presence, anything. The worst feeling in the world is just drawing lands. The fact that you can burn through your bad draws with extra mana, and especially in green decks that often aren't super mana efficient and often don't have anything to do at the end of the opponent's turn and when they're holding up mana. Just dump it into this. This is such a good ability. Yeah, this seems alright. I don't know. It's hard to evaluate these god cards because it's like, how much weight do you give to it being a creature sometimes? Like, hitting 5 devotion in green isn't that hard, because it's going to play a lot of permanents, and all of the creatures are going to have 1 or more green mana symbols. It feels good! The Ox of Agonas. Ooh, this is going to be a cycle, is it? All these legendary animals from, well, they're not actually legendary, but all these big deal animals from different regions. As a battlefield, discard your hand and draw 3 cards. This is something that red gets to do. Oh, this is a mythic, though. I guess it is in this cycle. This is something that red does occasionally. I think it's actually a really cool thing because it's such huge card advantage when your hand is empty and red just wants to keep dumping its hand. So in that sense, maybe it's sort of win more, but then in desperate situations when your hand is like full of lands or uncastable cards for whatever reason, this is like a very hype way to get you back in the game. It's like not guaranteed that it's going to help you out, but it's like your one desperate gamble. These last 3 cards, maybe I'll get a chance. And then you also have a 4/2 Ox. And then it's got a big escape cost, 8 other cards from your graveyard, but you just dumped your hand. Red's got a lot of ways to just burn through stuff. This seems pretty good. Even like intentionally dumping in the graveyard, dumping a bunch of other stuff in the graveyard, getting this out early, getting some cards going. I don't know. It seems like it plays well. It has lots of nice cycles. The art is super badass too. Look at its horns. Look at its chains. So, I don't know. Again, it's kind of hard to evaluate. It's like 5 is quite a lot for a red deck. Often red gets these nice, lots of nice abilities for power creatures at 4. Like Hellrider comes to mind and various others. So I don't know. 5, that's a lot. 4, that's not so much. As the battlefield, return any number of aura cards from your graveyard to the battlefield attached to creatures you control. Oh, exile the next to the... Oh, okay. Okay, well that's pretty interesting. Storm Herald. Well, your archetype is a little off. It's more like Boggles Herald. And I'm not sure if that's actually going to be a deck, because Boggles is so low to the ground and mana efficient. But they do sometimes end up with a lot of aura cards in the graveyard, like a couple failed big Boggles. It starts adding up fast. So, is it worth it to play something like this, and then get your one big Omega Swing with all of the ones that died? Is it worth it to try some crazy self-mill strategy, put this guy out, slam everything onto him? Like, maybe that's more the route, make it a full combo deck instead of just, like, this is a good support card in Boggles and stuff? I don't know. Probably the answer is it's just not that good at all, but that's less exciting than speculating. Cool art, too. It's like, what are you gonna do? I got this big statue guy behind me. You don't think there's an aura in my graveyard called Statue Come Alive? Storm's Wrath. It's just a big red sweeper for 4! Wow, that's actually a lot cheaper than I thought it would be. Each creature and each planeswalker. That's quite relevant in today's standard and pioneer meta, and probably even modern meta. It'd be a cool cube card too. Yeah, I don't know. There's not a lot to say about it, but it's good. It's good at what it does. The art is cool too. This is presumably the god of storms. Maybe this is a statue of him too. I can't remember that guy's name, but he's pissed off. Or is it Perforos? Is it Perforos? But there's another guy that's literally called the God of Storms. Why is Perforos taking that guy's line of work? That's not good. Alright, indestructible, not a creature. Other creatures you control have haste. Nice. The red creature card or artifact creature card. Whoa! Sneak attack. Are we sneak attacking? Are we sneak attacking for 5 and then 3 instead of 4 and then 1? Alright, we're not sneak attacking. That was a little ridiculous, but this is a solid enough card. The fact that you can put an artifact... Blightsteel, of course, comes to mind. Red creature cards, there's not actually that many that are that mind-blowing. Like, the fact that this just isn't any creature card makes this so much worse than sneak attack. You can't do Greaselbrand. You can't do Eldrazi. But you still got Blightsteel. You still got Sundering Titan. Things like that. Is this any good? Art's this one, the art is okay. I wish there was some more small things in it to give it more of a sense of scale. I like it when the gods are in kind of normal landscapes with like some kind of human stuff, and then you're like, wow, this thing is huge. But this art is fantastic still. It's really exciting that there's going to be a sneak attack-esque effect in modern and such, but that's just so much more expensive. 7/6 though, that's pretty nice. Okay, well, I don't know. Whoa, this thing is scary. Whoa, Strider. Whoa, Strider. Whoa, so you get to make a little scapegoat, or a scry goat, if you will. That's just ominous. The fact that you get this poor little innocent goat that can't fight to save its life alongside this horror. And it escapes, of course. Escapes as a 5/4. That's pretty cool. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I don't know. Ooh, a legendary enchantment creature, Harpy. Is this the first Harpy? There must have been other Harpies in Theros Beyond Death, or in the original Theros. Let's find out. Yeah, okay. There's actually been a ton of Harpies. And so far, none at rare. Wow. I think almost every creature type should try to have a couple rares that really try to swing for the fences with the kind of tropes of its creature type, both mechanically and flavorfully. That's kind of cool. The stats are pretty efficient. A 2/1 flyer for 2 starts building up a board presence. It's kind of tough to fuel this, but I think this is a cool way to push enchantments, is to make good enchantment payoffs. Enchantments historically kind of struggle in comparison to artifacts in terms of being kind of archetypes, just because the cards are usually quite a bit weaker. Sing Beauty, Sing for Death, and for the Dead. This is, of course, our Nightmare Weaver Ashiok. Alright, cool. Heliod Sun Crowned. This is a card that I saw some hype for, just in like YouTube thumbnails. I saw people going like, whoa, new Heliod. Whoa. So let's see. Let's see what the big deal is. Not a creature. Oh. Ooh. Alright, that's pretty good. I'll come right and say it right away. That's pretty good. White is another color that I think can gain devotion really quickly, just because white wants to pump out these weenie type decks. And, you know, you get some, like, Ajani's Pride Mages and stuff. Those have 2 white symbols in them on their own. This is just crazy. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature or enchantment. So the reason it says target creature or enchantment is because when this isn't a creature, you can still keep pumping it up, which is pretty sweet. You can give other stuff lifelink. That's awesome. The fact that it's another target creature and not Heliod himself, a little worse, I guess, because this is going to be a big, beefy boy if you want him to be. But yeah, I can see why people are kind of freaking out about this. This seems quite strong. It's like not even going to be the top of the curve of the white decks. It's indestructible. It's really hard to get rid of because those decks are usually pretty weak to board wipes. This thing just doesn't get wiped. It's unwipeable. It just gets bigger and bigger. Everything gets bigger and bigger. Things get lifelink. Oh, yeah. Oh, look at that landscape. Look at how big he is. Imagine you're just walking down like a little country road, looking at these nice rolling hills, and you just see this. You see this, and you're like, all right, guess someone's getting smited today. Yeah, this is cool. Good job, Heliod. I thought you were going to die this set, because you did my girl, why can't I think of her name? Elspeth. Did her pretty dirty, but I guess you're still the king. Omen of the Sea. This is Thalassia or something. Enter the battlefield, scry 2, then draw a card. Sack it to draw 2. Or scry 2. Alright, that's kind of cool. I like that it's an enchantment, just for the synergy and stuff. You know, normally these sorts of effects end up on, like, instants. But yeah, it's cool. And you can put it in the graveyard, too, which seems like it's important. Nyla's Intervention. In my mind, an intervention is like a very solemn affair where kind of like a subtle point is proven, you know, like a intervention for drugs or alcohol abuse or something like that. And then Nylea's intervention is let loose the Hydra and the elk and the Ankylosaurus and this fox and a boar and all of these things. Okay. Huh, alright. These are 2 very, very different abilities, which I guess is kind of what you want on a modal spell. That increases the odds that one of them will be useful at some point. I don't know, it seems okay. Guess it's going to be pretty expensive to search for lands in comparison to other land search cards. But the hidden benefit of this is always that you're thinning your deck quite a bit. You're making all of your draws better the less lands you have. Wave Break Hippocamp. Another Hippocamp. We saw these in Old Theros. This one is at rare. Again, I'm happy. I think all creature types, they should try to find a good rare. Whenever you cast your first spell during each opponent's turn, draw a card. Ooh, ooh, I like it. I like it. Going crazy tempo over here. Some draw-go blue payoffs. Yeah, I don't know. I think this is a really great design. Is it strong? I think in the right sort of tempo type deck, where you are basically just doing everything on your opponent's turn. This can get you some major card advantage. This can be kind of the linchpin to actually winning the game. Not your win con, but you know, the thing that guarantees that eventually you hit your win con. While of course also leaving all your mana up all the time to prevent your opponents from doing anything. Yeah, this seems pretty solid. I just don't know if the deck I described actually exists in any formats that this thing is strong enough for. Like, I don't think that deck exists in Modern right now. And I feel like probably if it doesn't exist in Modern, then the cards aren't there for it in Pioneer either. And is this strong enough for Legacy and such? Kind of doubt it. But cool cube card, you know? I think that's a fine way to evaluate cards, given how much I love cube. What else do we have? Show me the next page. How many pages do we have to get through? 7! Oh my god. Oh, we already saw a few. Oh, a new Polukranos! What? I guess Polukranos was a legendary creature. It's just not like a character, so I didn't expect to see it again. But now it's a zombie Hydra, so you know, that's fine. This battlefield with 6+1/+1 counters. It escapes with 12. Okay. It would be dealt damage while it has a +1/+1. Okay, so this is similar to like the Phantom Centaur type mechanic. That one was a little better because no matter how much damage it took, it only just lost one +1/+1 counter at a time. I think I've seen them do this implementation more recently, which I guess they figure is safer. Not that those Phantom cards were really all that strong, but yeah, the Protean Hydra. That wasn't that recently. There must be another one. I don't know how to search for it though, if it's not that. This is good. This fits in with the sort of theme that it had before, that it just fights everything all the time. This doesn't seem that hard to achieve. And then you've got a 12/12 for 6. It doesn't like trample or anything though. It just gets chump blocked all day. I guess you fight all the potential chump blockers and then swing for 12. But it's not going to swing for 12 anymore because it's been fighting stuff and it's losing all its +1/+1 counters. I don't know. I feel like the original Polukranos is a lot stronger. This one, it seems like it's pushed on first glance just because all the numbers are huge. But I don't know. It seems like not that impactful necessarily. I'd love to be proven wrong because I think this is a pretty cool design. But I don't know. #1 Bolus fan. Wait, this is like actually what that means, I think. Am I wrong? It's like aspiring blue. It's aspiring for something. Sure looks like Bolus's horns. When you sack a permanent, put a +1/+1 counter on it. That's pretty cool. Sack something else, it does. Oh, there's a lot of pretty cool stuff going on here. The can't block is often very relevant in just big pushing guy through decks. Pinging something is really good. Sacking an enchantment seems like it's going to have a lot of payoffs too. And this clause is actually pretty ridiculous. Like, there's probably some engines that this can fit nicely into. I suppose it's like faster to just use Blood Artist. Just kill them directly instead of making a gigantic satyr, but this is more fun. Don't you want a gigantic satyr? Look at this guy. He wants to be gigantic. He's definitely, this doesn't mean gigantic. Aspirant, I assume, just means like aspires to be person. Tectonic Giant. Attacks or becomes a target of spell and opponent controls. 3 damage to each opponent. Hey, it can either do skewer the critics or light up the stage. Ha ha ha! What a surprise. I think this is pretty good because it's always gonna like. You're probably either gonna start swinging with it or your opponent's gonna remove it, and either way, you're starting to get these effects, which are both powerful effects. I don't know. I think it's stats are okay. Seems solid enough, but like unlimited, right? I don't know. Lolf. This seems like too many syllables to be lof. Lolf. Seems like it has a lot of descriptors. Was Lolf a character in previous Theros? Oops, that's not how I meant to search. No. So I don't know where they got this Lolf from. Whenever an opponent casts an instant or sorcery spell, create a 1/2 green spike. Ooh, that's kind of cool. Stats are okay. Reach, of course. Art, creepy AF. Yeah, seems cool. Make a lot of little spider dudes. The fact that they have reach is pretty cool because you're probably playing this against like Delver type decks, trying to tempo out some fast flyers, just beat the crap out of you, and playing a lot of like cantrips and stuff. Yeah, I don't know. Seems okay. Farika's Spawn. Eesh. That's a terrifying thing, isn't it? A big Gorgon. Alright, sure. I think this non-Gorgon clause has like come up before. This is the way they flavor fleet. Oh, I keep doing this. Those are spoilers! They're spoilers! We can't have spoilers. But yeah, it's like they wanna symbolize the fact that these Gorgons can't kill each other, which I think is like kind of lore for Gorgons and Medusa and stuff. So yeah, they all have these non-Gorgon clauses. And the more Gorgons they print, the more plausible it is that there's going to be an actual Gorgon tribal deck to take advantage of all of this. One-sided board wipes and stuff. There's a lot of them. I don't know. Could happen. Probably not, but could happen. And then imagine the mirror match. Oh boy. Everything just stops working. Hey, what? We already saw this. I don't get it. Is it because we saw this art and that got spoiled later than this art? Okay, well that's fine. Pensive Pious Propensity. Sure. Alright. This seems fine. Probably won't be doing this, but just as a generic reincarnation spell. They've printed a lot worse in recent years. This might be one of the strongest reanimation spells in Standard, actually. So maybe something can be done with it. Maybe. Spider. Another big spider. Sure. There's a lot of anti-flying stuff in green. There was the X-Hurricane spell, there was the other spider, and now there's this spider. So I haven't really seen the flyers, though. Is this like a delayed response to... What set had a lot of flyers? I don't think Eldraine. Eldraine had, like, fairies. Were they super worried about fairies? Are these all counters to Brazen Borrower? Anyways, this card seems fine. The idea of it being a cheap... It's a 1/2 play, or a 1-mana play at the start, and then later in the game, it becomes a relevant threat again. That's pretty cool. Especially in Limited, that seems pretty cool. And here, that first it pings something for 1, and then it pings something for 4 is cool. Sure. Reverend Hoplite. Alright, that's cool. Yeah. I don't know. Not much to say about it. Its stats are like so depressing. 5 mana, 1/2, but you're getting a lot of soldiers. This is like the very definition of win more, though. All of these devotion payoff cards, it's like the best things about them are when they're transformative, where it's like you might have a board presence in one way, and then the devotion payoff card comes down, and it's like you transform that board presence into something with more like reach or whatever. So of course the big example is Gray Merchant, Gary. I don't know how to spell Gray apparently. No, is this a card? Griff Merchant? No. What? This guy, right? So it's like you've got a bunch of black permanents, but that might not actually be winning you the game directly. That might just be, you know, whatever. And then you drop this, and now you've converted all of that controlling board presence into the actual direct life loss, into actually winning the game. Whereas something like this, presumably you've got some go wide white deck that you want like a whole bunch of 1/1s. You play a bunch of cards, a bunch of cheap creatures, and then you play this to get a whole bunch more cheap creatures. It's like, is that really necessary? Like, weren't you already along the win path? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's not that strong. Saw this guy before. This is the different art. Sweet Oblivion. So that's kind of cool. You mill, all right, and then you can immediately escape with just the cards you milled. And then you mill 4 more, and because escape doesn't exile, it just plays it again. So you can actually just cast this indefinitely to mill out your whole deck if you want, or mill out your opponent's deck and your own deck like alternatingly. Either way, it doesn't seem like that's the best way to do what you're trying to do. It's just a very cute design, I guess. The fact that it gives itself its own material for escape. But yeah, I don't think this is going to make mill any worse, or any better. That is. Sure. Glimpse of Freedom. So it's kind of cool. I really do like these instant escape effects because it's quite different than Flashback and such in that it doesn't exile itself later. You can just keep escaping. And the fact that this basically is like 2 mana, draw a card, and then you have it like an emblem, this immutable thing that you can just keep paying 3 to draw a card, seems pretty sweet. In like a grindy controlling deck, I think I can see the appeal here. Freedom lies in accepting a single path. Ooh, how profound. Maybe just because it's late at night, but how profound. Something Petitioner. Setsean Petitioner equals the battlefield. You gain life equal to your devotion in green. So this is, again, this is a little more transformative, where you might be in really good board state, but you're facing down burn, you're kind of in trouble. This is gonna save you from direct damage and stuff. It's not as transformative as Gary, because presumably all of this devotion is just creatures that are gonna beat the crap of your opponent anyways. But sometimes you just need a little more time. And this thing's stat line is okay. It gives nice devotion boost. Sure. Amaranth. What was I just... What is Amaranth? Why was I just thinking about Amaranth? Is it because of the town of Amaranth? There's something else called Amaranth? Alright, whatever. It doesn't matter. Ashiok's Eraser. In the battlefield, exile target spell. Opponents can't cast names with the same name as the exile card. Alright, that's kind of cool. A combination counterspell and I guess more of like an Oblivion Ring, because they can get it back. And it like revokers them. Ah, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. The mana cost is actually not that prohibitive, given that 3 is like our starting rate for counterspells. Yeah, I think the strength of this card basically comes down to how mainstream enchantment hate is going to be in this standard. And it's kind of like, the stronger this is, the more likely it is that people are running main deck enchantment hate, which makes this a lot weaker. But there maybe is some sort of sweet spot where it sees play and everything's okay. Maybe. I don't know. It's kind of cool though. I hope it's like decent. There's again. Hey, whoa, more sagas! I love sagas. For basic plane, create a 0-1. Alright, nothing too exciting. So the last one was like extremely thematic and really well done in terms of flavor and telling the Trojan War or Magic's version of it in effects. Is there another Greco-Roman legend that this is modeling that I don't know? Am I going to embarrass myself by saying I don't get the reference? Library for basic... Is it about Hadrian going out and building the wall? You search for England. You go and build Hadrian's wall. You enjoy a rich life. Something, but Meletus is like a in-lore character already, so maybe this reflects some in-lore story that I don't know so much about. But this is nice. It's like 3 unexciting things, but they're all things that you never don't want to do. So it's okay. Meyer Triton. Sure. I was like, damn, this art is cool. Of course! It's Seb. It's your boy. Oh, so this is basically... No, it's not. I was about to say, do you draw to it? No, that's ridiculous. But still, this is pretty good. Because there's a lot of stuff where you want stuff in your graveyard, setting up escape stuff, setting up exiling things, whatever. Death Touch is super relevant. Seems good. Not great, but good. Towering Wave Mystic. It's a lot of merfolk. I guess there was a lot of merfolk in original Theros too. So it's always like worth noting that they're merfolk, because there's so many like merfolk payoff cards. Sure. Just the mill hitter. It's fine. It's like you can learn firsthand how bad mill is when this does 1/10 of their life, but something like 1/30th of their library. Idyllic Tutor. This is an old Morning Tide card, shot up to $30 that they're finally reprinting. Beautiful art. I love it. I love it. God's reaching out to touch her. Cool. And see, this is what I love. The hugeness of the God figures. And then this kind of idyllic everyday that you see both the gods as kind of responsible for and then always on the verge of just throwing into chaos, totally disrupting. And this is something that I think comes across really nicely in actual Greco-Roman lore, that everything is sort of the way it should be. And then these elements of chaos. And if we want to get like really galaxy brain about it, we can, but I won't. That's all I'll say. But yeah, the kind of psychological interpretations of the fact that this culture was telling themselves stories like that is very interesting to me. So what does this actually do? Tutors for an enchantment. Nice. I remember when that was a lot cheaper, but that's fine. There's Big Idyllic Tutor. Cool. I love that art, though. So it's all about that. Atris, Oracle of Half-Truths. That's a cool name. I like that they're kind of doing what's that guy's name? Rene Magritte? Magritte? This is what I think of. Specifically this one. But not holding up the apple. Atris doesn't have that power. They have to hold up the thing themselves. That is a battlefield. Target opponent looks at the top 3 cards of your library and saves them face down pile and face up pile. Whoa! Oh my god. Oh my god, I love it. I was just saying how cool I think Factor Fiction is. And this adds like a whole other game on top of Factor Fiction. Like, is the face up pile good enough? Could the face down pile be better? Is it likely to be better? Am I trying to get baited into taking the face up pile? I just wish this was like more expensive or equally expensive and not a creature. You know, like I just want like a 5-card version of this as an instant, like Factor Fiction. The fact that it's 3 cards makes it a lot less exciting and psychologically intense. But still very, very cool. I love this design. Is it good? I don't know. Who cares? It's brilliant. Face down and face up? Are you kidding me? Whoa! That's so cool. We saw Heliod already. Devourer of Memory. Put into your graveyard from your library. Seems pretty good. If it wasn't one or more, it would be absolutely bonkers with self-mill type decks, but even then, this is kind of a cool way to make those sort of self-mill type decks not so combo-y, not so much about one gigantic play, but capable of like kind of tempoing some stuff more. Terrifying creature. But yeah, it's kind of neat. Sip silently through the still waters of Labyrinth of Memories to feed. So this must be in like the underworld or something. There's a place called the Labyrinth of Memories. I like it. I like it. Inspire Awe. Oh, that's kind of cool. Fog, except for enchanted creatures and enchantment creatures. Could this see play in Boggles? I don't know. That's just where my mind always goes. I think it's more going to be like go wide, beat downy type stuff that this wants more. The fact is, like, if your Boggle's getting blocked, it's already a bad situation. You don't really need to save it. You just need to push even faster and harder. Alright, sure. Banishing Light or reprint. Sure, sure, sure. I think this is the same... Yeah, this is the same art as we've seen a few times. I think. Yeah. Which... I thought at some point they said they weren't going to do. That all new standard legal sets would be all new art. Am I crazy? Did they say something like that at some point? Oh well, I'm not going to be like, oh, you hypocrites. Like, they're allowed to change their mind. I thought it was worth noting. But yeah, this is fine. It's just the O-ring, but with fixed wording, so you can't do shenanigans to take stuff indefinitely. Champion reached for a stone, and Heliod placed the sun into her hand. But then a later killed Elspeth or something. Alright, neat. This is kind of cool. So you can de-creature gods permanently. You can de-creature other enchantment creatures. I don't know, it's kind of neat. You can do this and then play Opalescence or whatever it is that makes enchantments into creatures for extra fun. Is that Harpy again? Nader Kraken. So it does seem like there's like a... Oh, maybe not. Because the other ones are 5 CMC, so that breaks the cycle. And Nader isn't a specific place, it's just the bottom. It's the Kraken from the bottom. Sweet name, actually. Whenever you draw a card, you pay 1. I love it. I love it. I love any depiction of Krakens where the tentacles are so large, they're like separate entities. JRPGs do this a lot. Shoutouts to Super Mario RPG, but then also like 500 other games. Yeah, this seems alright. It's like a good control finisher, that's for sure. And we all love a good control finisher. The art is sweet too, super like iconic. That's just what a Kraken looks like. I think my only beef with a lot of cards like this, and there's certain Hydras that are like this too, is that it has this super imposing art and the potential to get huge. But you're playing it as a 2/3, and then you're looking at this art like, is that a 2/3? Is this really a 2/3? I don't know, there's quite a few cards like that, so I really should stop complaining about it, but it's just how I feel. Alright, sure. Escape velocity. Escape. Not even death can catch me now. A lot to love about this one. He's running up the side of a pillar, it seems. Lovely. Treacherous Blessing. There's Battlefield, draw 3 cards. Whenever you cast a spell, you lose 1 life. Huh. So that's kind of cool. It's like you want rid of it as quickly as possible after you draw your 3, of course. So anything to target it gets rid of it. Yeah, I don't know. This is an interesting design. Makes me like quite curious how it plays out. And then, you know, alternatively, it could just be good enough card advantage that like none of this matters, and you just play this, refuel your hand, continue comboing off or whatever, taking damage the whole time. But who cares? That's exciting too. Cling to Dust. All right, sure. This is very narrow graveyard hate. But you can repeat it, I guess. Sure, sure. This is the doggy we saw before. We saw this guy before. We saw this guy before. We saw this guy before. Hey, it's not going to take so long after all. Field of Ruin. This card is sweet. It's becoming quite a staple, which I'm all for. The fact that you get a basic land as well makes all the difference in the world between this and your Ghost Quarters and your million other pseudo-wastelands. Pseudo... Yeah, they're all pseudo-wastelands. There's no pseudo-strip mine. I'll never do that again. Brine Giants. Hey, alright, sure. Big boy enchantment payoff with a goofy look on his face. So, Meletus, that we saw the Saga card before, is like a city? It's like a... Atlantis proxy? I don't know. Sure. Saw this already. I ranted about it for a while. That's how it goes. We're getting there, we're getting there. Ooh, another god. Erebos Bleak-Hearted. Bleak-Hearted. Wow, I like that. Whenever a creature dies and may pay 2 life, you draw a card. Sack another creature, another creature. Oh. Alright. See the other art. Whoa, that's cool. Look at that. Look at how big he is. Just like how big they are. So this is a card advantage engine. And this is pretty good removal too. The fact that you can do it a few times, you don't have to tap it or anything. So yeah, this is like the heart of an engine, but I don't know if the rest of the pieces are there. It's pretty solid on its own too. Like of course the indestructible 5/6. But it's like you're sacking your stuff. Your devotion might be going down. This is pretty nice. Yeah, I don't know. Look at how big he is. Temple of Plenty. These are just the Scrylands getting reprinted. I remember they hyped these up before the original Theros. A new multicolored cycle of rare lands that'll knock your socks off. And a lot of people were like really disappointed, I remember. Ugh, it just Scry's one. Like, what's the big deal? And then like every actually good player was like, no, that's actually a pretty big deal. And since then, it's been somewhere in the middle. They haven't been like all over the place, but a lot of decks do kind of want something like this. It's just that more like the normal mana bases are just so good, like having full sets of fetches and shocks. You really are always going to want to do that. There's probably no room for the Scrylands since they don't have fetchable types. But I think they're quite good. All this art is phenomenal, I bet. Look at that. Look at these temples. Look at that. That's beautiful. Look at how much scrolling we're doing. Look at how much catching up we're going to have done after these 10 cards. Repeated twice. 20. This one's pretty cool. Temple of Abandon. Just way out in the wilderness. Oh, wait, where's the rest? Is it only allied colors? Were there only allied colors before? Or did they do enemy colors? I don't remember. Anyways, Underworld Breach. Hey, yeah, that's not bad. So it's interesting that normally red gets these sorts of effects, like Past in Flames comes to mind, and it's like a sorcery or whatever that says until end of turn this is true. This time it's an enchantment that you sack at the end of the turn you cast it, which is functionally the same thing, but you get some enchantment payoff stuff, which is neat. This seems like it could be pretty strong. I don't know though, because the appeal of Past in Flames is that you're comboing with it. It's not very likely that there's like a combo where you... Oh, I don't know. There's like a lot of requirements because you have to keep getting more cards in your graveyard too. But yeah, there could be combos where you continually sack a creature and escape it, which would be kind of neat. I'm like vaguely thinking that this could be true. There's that creepy guy again. I saw this too. Uh-oh, battery life critical. Oh my gosh. Why doesn't it tell me before it's critical? Critical is so scary. I have a charger. Critical is the one word you can't ignore. If it said low, I would have been like, alright, after this video. But since it said critical, we have to do it now. Alright. That's fine. It's not great, but fine. All have their limits, but patience can be infinite. The flavor here is intriguing to me. Who is this big chained guy? Thirst for meaning. Hey, it's like Thirst for Knowledge! It's like Thirst for Knowledge, but enchantment version. Oh, that's cute. I like it. I like it. It seems like a pretty safe card to make. Given the Thirst for Knowledge is like good, but not nuts, and this seems like a lot worse just because enchantments are a lot worse than artifacts. So yeah, Sip of Recollection, an Ocean of Regrets. Oh no. That's sad. But yeah, this is cool. You saw this already. Timoret Calls the Dead. First off, I love the name. I love the like sentence form of it. It feels like a title for like a chapter in a very old story. It sounds like the sort of summary titles they give sections of the Bible, say. But it's just something that happened. Okay, 1 and 2, mill 3. Create a zombie if you can exile a creature enchantment. Gain X life and Scry X. Oh, that's not bad. Art is creepy. Skeleton man being made by skeleton men or something. Yeah, I don't know. This is the guy that was the Returned, right? Timoret the Returned. The Murder King. Who is the Returned? I don't know. But gosh, he's the Murder King. Don't mess with the Murder King. We saw this already. There's no success like excess. Was that on the original, the other one we saw too? No, I guess not. It's another reason to always remember to check both versions. Saw this already, which did have, no it didn't. We just looked at the other one, okay. The Binding of the Titans. Another cool saga. This one, literally, well not literally, but very similar to something that happened in actual Greco-Roman myth. I was about to say something that actually happened, but you know, that's not quite right. Sure. Okay. This is like a common thing. Milling 3. I don't know. Doesn't seem that great. It gets you card advantage, sort of, eventually. Hey, this thing is back! Everyone was so scared of it before, and it's just back. Strong card. Very strong card. We saw this already. Tree Shaker. Look at this guy! Oh my gosh, I love him! Wow. Another all creatures able to block. That's interesting. They've done that twice in this set. I guess this is like territory they're exploring for green. The stats are strictly worse for the mana cost. But this time you draw the cards. You draw 3 cards. That's not bad. This is pretty cool. I like a lot about this card. I like the human for scale. I like how goofy it looks. I like this kind of flavor juxtafication that the reason you're drawing cards is because when it dies, you're looking at the bones of it, which are somehow inscribed with the wisdom of the past. Sure. And yeah, look at it. Look at the lion's face. I love it. Iron Scale Hydra. Alright, cool. Pretty Hydra-y. Arrows only make it angry. Classic Hydra plays. Yeah, the artwork looks like League of Legends, but that's fine. It looks like what I expect League of Legends to look like. How useful is something like this? Because it's like you keep attacking with it. They don't want to block it. But it's still very weak to non-damage based removal. So, Terror of Mount Velis. I thought it would have 2 heads. Why does it have double strike? I guess because it has this thing. And blades are often associated with double strike. And, ooh, everything gets double strike. That's cool. Yeah, I don't know. This thing seems strong enough. It's just the big finisher. Not much you can ask from it. Death Bellow War Cry, an 8-mana sorcery. What? Whoa. Whoa. Okay, 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 okay. Now this is fun. Who are like our biggest minotaurs? How crazy could this get? Now, a while ago, when first Theros came up, and they finally started making minotaurs again, a lot of people were really enthused to try to make a minotaur tribal deck because of the card Didgeridoo, which allows you to cheat a minotaur in for pretty cheap. And it's like they just kept begging wizards, make more strong minotaurs. So this thing actually has like a payoff. And there's some big boys. This is a 7-mana one. It's not that impressive though. The 6-mana one, mostly for Cascade. That doesn't work with this, and I don't think it works with Didgeridoo either. So Minotaur Tribal. Oh, this one's pretty cool. This one's pretty cool. But you can only get one of it, and you need 4 with different names. This thing's pretty strong, given that a lot of people wear jeans. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna work yet, Minotaur Tribal. But I like that people will keep trying, and this is gonna be even more exciting than Didgeridoo. The real question is, how do you get up to 8? How do you get up to 8 mana? And then, of course, there's always the route where you play things like stuff with Changeling, or that big guy from Modern Horizons. That's like the big tribal commander. Yeah, seems cool. Alright, that's pretty cool. That's a very, very fun card. Pretty slow, pretty clunky. I don't think it's actually good, but boy, that sounds like fun, doesn't it? Does that not sound like fun? Big demon, let's go. The fun continues. Not that crazy. I like demons that have more of a complex effect, and something that negatively affects you too. Like you've really made a deal with a demon. But this is just strong. That's fine too. I mean, he looks pretty cool. He kind of looks like a Devilman Crybaby demon. A Devilman. Big Sphinx. Wow. Wait, we just really had all the iconic creature types, didn't we? Big Hydra. Big Dragon. Big Demon. Big Sphinx. Next should be Big Angel. Are there angels on Theros? This is pretty uninteresting though. Wait, are these from... Because the collector's numbers are super high. I think these are from like Planeswalker decks. So that makes a lot of sense. That they're... Or these are from like the Commander supplemental? Oh my god, it's getting confusing. There's so many like products that just orbit around every actual set release. It's hard to understand. Anyways, I think the reason these cards are so simple is because they're from some supplemental products that isn't just the set itself. And then there's stuff like this, which is just bonkers. Alright, sure. I like these sorts of lines that initially seem like they're just flavor, and they really are like 99% flavor, but then in like one matchup it actually matters, and it's like super hype. But yeah, is there going to be a Kraken, Leviathan, Octopus, and Serpent deck that uses this to finally push through all the damage, because those things usually just get chumped for days? Probably not, but we can dream. Yeah, towards our doom of trying to make a deck around this. Victory's Envoy. Sure. Yeah, this is some supplemental thing. These don't feel like real cards. They feel like portal cards, you know? That's fine. Hey, that's cute. Look, he's just got him in his hands. Yeah. The way they kind of spell out the story here is really funny to me. Sure. That card. So this is probably, yeah, this is also from some Planeswalker deck product thing. Sure. Yeah, this seems fine. This is kind of what I expect these sorts of planeswalkers to be like, so that's fine. This is going to be the same. Yeah, they're always tutoring specific cards too in these decks. Try to teach you about synergy in a very ham-fisted way. Sure, this is kind of cool. Teaching you about devotion. It's like, what's devotion? Well, hopefully there's a player's guide. Forest! Forest, island. Hey, we're like almost done now because there's going to be a ton of basic lands. These big chains. So interesting. So pretty. Look at that. Look at the mountains of clouds, too. Mountain of air. Nice. Cool. I love the colors. Ooh, I love the colors. And these broken pillars. Oh, boy. Oh, I love it. Nice. Beautiful. Sure, sure. Great. I think we saw this before, but maybe we only saw the other art. Yeah, I think we only saw the other art, so there might be new cards past this, too. We saw the other art for this as well, and I got pretty excited because it's another Enchantress. This I think we saw before. This we saw before. Okay, we're caught up. We're caught up, and it only took an hour and 10 minutes. Not bad. Okay, now we're gonna try to stay on top of this. We'll already go back just to double check, but there isn't any new cards. But tomorrow, I promise, I'll do my best. Let's look at some more cards tomorrow. Okay, bye bye.